You are listening to the SDSU Football Podcast, presented by the East Village Times, with your hosts Andre Hagverdian and Paul Garrison. Welcome, listeners, to another episode of the SDSU Football Podcast. I am your host, Andre Hagverdian, joined shortly by my co-host, Paul Garrison, as always. This is episode 70. We're back with more interviews. This time we're interviewing two of the newest Aztec commits. One who is part of the freshman class of 2024, Stacy Bey, linebacker from Rancho Cucamonga High School. And the other is Deshawn Mccuin, who is a transfer safety from TCU, who will be coming over to the Mesa this summer to be part of the 2023 roster. He does have 2 years of eligibility left as a senior and then a super senior COVID year if he chooses to use the second year. So both potentially could be playing with each other in the 2024 season as part of a potential first roster in a Power 5 conference. It was great chatting with both of them. Paul interviewed Stacy solo. I was unable to make it. And then both Paul and I did chat with Deshawn. So let's start up with Stacy and then get into the interview with Deshawn. Paul and I will be back to discuss it.
All right, we should be good. So, just starting off, man, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for taking the time to talk. For people who haven't seen your game, how would you describe it?
They call me an athlete. I play both ways of the ball. I play running back and linebacker. I think on the running back side, since I'm big, people expect me to, not have vision and not be fast, but I'm like the total opposite. I can make you miss in open field. And then on defensive wise, playing inside backer as fast as I am, I get past linemen, and linemen can't really block me. So I think that's what separates my game from other players.
So just staying with that topic, you mentioned obviously playing linebacker, playing running back. Well, what is it that you like most about each position?
Running back, it's always been since a kid, I always had the vision, and nose for the end zone. I find the end zone quite easily. And then defensive wise, I just love hitting people. I like taking a lot of things out on people without getting in trouble for it.
And take us through your high school career, man. Where have you played, and where will you be playing this upcoming season?
I played at Ruby Hills High School my freshman year. That was COVID year, and I played there my sophomore year. And then I transferred to Bishop my junior year, and I played there last season. I had a great season. That was my breakout year. And then my senior year, I'm playing at Rancho Cucamonga High School.
And so why was it important for you to go play at Rancho Cucamonga? And for those, listening, that's about half an hour away from Bishop Atlanta, where he played last year.
Yeah, Rancho was actually closer to me. So it was just it was a better situation for me and my family. It was closer.
No, it makes complete sense. And then, watching your huddle a few times, man, something that really stands out, as you mentioned, is just you have a really attacking style. Do you feel that style complements what SDSU likes to do?
Yeah, I think it does. They like how I can play multiple positions like that. So they were looking, when I go there, I'm going to be playing inside backer, outside backer, a hybrid type of linebacker. I can go out the box, I can play nickel, I can cover. So I think that's what they like about me. That's what stands out about myself too.
And so you're thinking about it. So they're thinking about more on the defensive side.
Yeah.
And so what are your goals then for this upcoming season as you go to a new school powerhouse up there?
My new goal is just to stay consistent, stay perfect, stay good on and off the field, and just be safe, man. Don't have any injuries this season. Going to college healthy.
Do you have any plan to enroll early?
Yeah, I do plan to enroll during winter break for high school. Winter break.
So yeah. Right after this upcoming semester or the fall semester. Why is it important for you to get that early head start in college?
I think it's important because you get a better chance of playing. I know as incoming freshmen, they're gonna have their guys and everything like that. So it's a better chance for me to work out with them and then play spring and stuff like that rather than coming in the summer Miller had their guys working out, stuff like that. So I think it gives me a better advantage in rolling during the fall.
Absolutely. And you've generously talked with the media about your recruiting process. In one of those articles, you said you plan to commit during the summer, which
Yep.
we aren't summer yet. You listed 4 schools as standing out to you at the end of February. None of them were the Aztecs.
Yep.
So what was it about SDSU, I guess, that changed what you thought was going to happen?
One of my good friends, name is Jordan Naper. He's actually committed to San Diego State and everything. And Coach Summer was talking to him about me, but after that, Coach Summer, like, he hit me up every day. I built a great relationship with Coach Summer. And then now I have a great relationship with Coach Maddox and Coach Hoke now that I committed there and everything. And then when I went to go visit, it was just close to home. My family came to watch me play. It was beautiful out there. It was good. They have good education, so it was just like the right move.
And what is it about playing with Jordan that you're looking forward to?
I've been playing football with him since I was a little kid, so to be able to play football with him in college and maybe it's going to be a great experience.
Now, another article, you talked about that you still plan on visiting other schools around the country, and there's been some speculation among the fan base because they love what they see about your tape and stuff. That maybe you aren't as committed to this. Maybe you still have your eyes open on other schools. I mean, could you just, I guess, discuss like why it was those other visits were important to you and where you're at with your process with the Aztecs?
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
No, my fault. So one of the things that you said is that you're still taking visits to other schools and things of that nature, or you did already. And that's led some people to speculate that maybe you're, more of a soft commit. Just could you address, why it was important for you to take those visits and just, where's your commitment to the Aztecs?
I'm a hard commitment as of right now to Aztecs. I haven't taken any visits. I know before I said I was planning to take a visit, but I haven't been planning on taking any visits soon. I just been locked in with the Aztecs.
Right on. And since your commitment, 3 more players have joined the class. How important is it for you to stay connected to those players as the first commit and begin building that chemistry?
It's very important. Trying to get other players to commit with us as well. It's just we're going to be the first class to maybe be in the Pac-12 if San Diego State goes there. So this 24 class is very special because we'll be the first class to be in that Pac-12.
No doubt. And it looks like, man, you've already started to get some people to come along with you. It seems like you have some personal connections to at least 2 of the commits. Foster Slaughter is your cousin, right? And then Raheem Wright is a future teammate.
Yep.
Did you play any role in their final decision?
You said that? Yeah. Foster, yeah. But he was already looking into San Diego State. But with me being there and everything like that, we competed last year together at Bishop Lamont. So it's kind of a good thing that we get to keep competing together. And with our team, I knew Raheem since I was a little kid. We played 7-on-7 against each other and stuff like that. So I'm just looking forward to playing with him this year and then at San Diego State.
No question, man. And then you mentioned the Pac-12 potentially. I mean, the Athletic had an article where the athletic director was quoted as saying, it's Pac-12, it's Big 12, one of the two is going to happen. What do you think about that potential invitation and what it could mean to San Diego State?
I think that's very big for San Diego State. I know San Diego State is a good team, and they'll be able to express and show what they can really do on a bigger stage.
And you kind of already mentioned this a little bit, but you being kind of that first recruit, the guy who started this off and said, you want to be an Aztec. I mean, how much of a role do you take and do you approach, trying to get other players to come and join you on the Mesa?
I take it as the role. The coach called me the sergeant, trying to get other recruits and stuff like that, and soldiers to join with us. So I take it a big deal. I try to get other players to join us. I know we're going to be that, like I said, we're going to be that first class in the Pac-12. So I'm trying to get as much players, the best players in our area and in this class come to Diego State to start something off big.
Right on. Are there? So the sergeant, yeah. Where did that come from?
You said the sergeant?
Is that what you just said? Did the coach call you?
Yeah, the sergeant. That's what Coach Summers said. I gotta be the sergeant, the captain of this class, being the first team, trying to get other players with us.
Incredible. And is there anyone that you're willing to say publicly that you're taking that role seriously about?
Oh, there's a lot of players. There's another IE player. I'm trying to get Dylan Gresham, trying to get him. I'm trying to get Sire Gaines from Orange Vista. I'm trying to get Dylan Riley from Rancho Verde, a great running back. And then another commit we just got too was Terrell Chopper from Sierra Cane too. So that was really good.
Incredible. And then, obviously since your commitment, San Diego State basketball went crazy, made that huge run in the NCAA. Were you paying attention to that? And what were your thoughts about your school being that group that, playing up in the Final Four like that?
No, that was crazy, man. I was watching that game. I seen the buzz I was going crazy. I tried to FaceTime Coach Summer right away, but he didn't answer. He was at the game. He sent me pictures of the whole stands going crazy. So that was pretty big for San Diego State to be in that stage and making that game-winning shot.
Awesome, man. This has been a great, great conversation, brother. But we have a last couple things with some rapid fire, non-football related to give Aztec fans a little bit of a chance to get to know you.
Okay, that's good.
All right, man. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food, seafood. I love seafood. Seafood, any type of crab, crawfish, salmon, catfish, oysters, mussels, whatever.
Interesting. And so where is it that you developed that love from?
My dad cooked seafood majority like my younger years and stuff like that. I plan to go fishing and do a catch and cook, but my dad, he really got me into seafood as a little kid.
That's incredible. What was his specialty?
Salmon, turkey, and lobster. My dad makes the best lobster.
Let's go. That sounds incredible, man. How about your favorite music?
My favorite music? I like all types of music, honestly, but if I was to say like favorite music before game days, I like to slow it down, listen to Michael Jackson, stuff like that, R&B, good old 90s R&B music.
I mean, same question, man. Why are you picking music before you were born?
And that's the best music.
You're not going to get an argument from me.
I listened to that music all as a little kid growing up. I used to be like, oh, this music is trash, music trash. But the older you get and the more you understand the lyrics, it's actually great music.
100%. No, that's right. How about your favorite movie or TV show?
My favorite movie, I got to go to Waterboy with Adam Sandler. That's my favorite movie. I don't really watch TV shows like that, but The Waterboy is one of my favorite movies.
Okay, man. Is it fair to say that you're an old soul? Because every one of these questions that you've responded to, man, have been stuff that like my generation geeked on.
Hey, I got an old soul, man. My dad put me on all the good old movies, The Goonies, all that, from The Goonies everywhere. I watched all of those.
That's incredible, man. When you are, if you're going to say rollerblading, I'm about to freak out. What is your favorite hobby when you're not getting ready for football and doing those things?
My favorite hobby, since a little kid, I've been learning to play the guitar. My dad plays piano, but I've been on and off the guitar. But since my dad plays piano, I've been learning to play the piano, so that's what I've really been into right now.
Incredible. And what is it that when you go to play the guitar or the piano, what is it that you particularly pay attention to?
It's a real good stress reliever. It just like clears your mind. It brings you calm. It's just a real good stress reliever.
Incredible. Well, Stacy, thank you for your time. Sergeant Bey, we appreciate it, man. And we look forward to you doing big things at San Diego State.
Appreciate it, man. Have a great day.
All right. Take care.
We want to welcome Deshawn Mccuin to the SDSU Football Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
We're doing great, too. Thank you.
Great, man. Thank you.
So you spent the last 4 years of college football at TCU, but just a few weeks ago, you entered the transfer portal after spring camp. What was behind the decision to enter the portal?
There's a lot, to factor into that always. I have, been through some injuries that limited me as well. Searching for a playing time, a new home, searching for a new atmosphere, new opportunity to, eventually get to the league. So, I feel like I made a great decision to come here and just, ready to start playing ball.
Aside from the Aztecs, what other schools were you considering and why ultimately was San Diego State the right choice for you?
I had quite a few. Indiana, Old Dominion, Utah, U of H. A lot of those schools. Just the camaraderie and the coaching atmosphere is what I like the most. San Diego is always going to be San Diego. It's California, nice weather all the time. So I had to factor that out. And I feel like those coaches will help me get to where I need to get to.
I was a member of TCU this past season. You got to play in the national championship game. The game itself didn't go exactly as your team wanted, but can you describe the journey that you saw that propelled you to get to that point?
Oh yeah, the journey was the best thing of it all. Just being able to just grow with my teammates and just win ball games. Of course, it took a lot to get to where we got, but that journey was very gut wrenching, hard, blood, sweat, and tears, and I enjoyed every minute of it, and it helped me and structured me into the guy that I am today, football player that I am today, and I'll never take that opportunity for granted.
There's been a lot of flux at the safety position for SDSU. 2 players transferred out, 2 players transferred in. There's a pair of incumbent starters, a host of really talented younger players. Just what are your thoughts about the room that you're joining?
I think it's a great room, very athletic room, very smart room. I think I'll be able to come in and bring more athleticism to the table. Just that's my strength. So being as athletic as I am, I feel like I can bring that to the room and bring a better program for SDSU.
One of the other guys that transferred in is one of your conference mates in the Big 12, JD Coffey from Texas.
Yeah.
He transferred in before spring camp. Are you familiar with his game at all? Did you have a chance to talk to him while you're going through this process?
Yeah, I met him on my visit, and we chopped it up a little bit. Just talking about the ins and outs and of the program. And I think he's a great player. I seen him play a little bit at UT, and it's been, it's good to watch him play. I'm excited to play alongside of him.
Was he your host for your visit, or was somebody else your host?
It was Keenan, the running back, and he was a great host. Really like that guy. Really anxious to see, how he plays, and just to be around him and just check how it is to be around him and the team and just that whole atmosphere.
What were some of the other highlights from your visit?
Oh man. I've been to San Diego maybe once or twice, and I haven't been in that area, but that area is beautiful to say the least. Just the people, my host, the people that drove me around, the coaches, they just showed me a great time. I went to the annual Taco Fest. That was a great time, great food, very friendly people. I think probably the best thing that we did was that Taco Fest. So I'm really excited to go up there and enjoy it.
How do you like your tacos, man? It's what we do at the end, but just got to be asked now.
Oh man, it was so being from Texas, we have Tex-Mex, and
right,
that's what I've been used to for as long as I've been living. And they're more authentic style up there in California, and I love it. I loved every bit of those tacos that I had, so I'm excited to eat some more.
There's, conference realignment is a hot topic around the country. San Diego State's obviously involved in that. San Diego State's athletic director, J.D. Wicker, said in an article in The Athletic recently that, San Diego State is switching conferences for 2024. It's one or the other, Pac-12 or Big 12. What are your thoughts on that topic?
Just from being around the coaches and the teammates, my future teammates, I think they're very competitive, very willing to go into another conference and go dominate. I don't think that they will have any problem, me personally, especially if I'm on the team. Just me having the personality of competitiveness, I just don't see us having a problem in any conference that we go to.
You mentioned your athleticism, and that also really jumped out to us as well. We read that you ran a 4.5 40, 39-inch vertical, 123-inch broad jump in East Texas, the Combine Showcase. Your DC in high school, Kenny Canada, called you a freak athlete. How does your athleticism help you to play the position of safety?
Oh, yeah, just being able to, track the ball, being able to break, strength as well, being able to be physical with the bigger backs in this league. It helps me, coming out of my break, just being able to move around. I feel like that's being athletic as I am, being able to just move around in that back seven it helps me a lot.
In high school, you were named the 5A Utility Player of the Year because you played QB, running back, wide receiver on offense, corner, safety on defense. Coach Kennedy said that the move to safety was because you added 10 to 12 pounds of muscle in the offseason, and that's just where you fit more. Was that your intention, adding that much muscle, or did you just kind of work out that way?
That's just how it worked out. And I think it went well because I gained those 10 to 12 pounds. And I went to the TCU camp and I did all of those things, and they saw me at safety. And so I went into my senior season, because I've never played safety until my senior year. I think it just worked out, coincidentally, and I'm glad it did.
Yeah, coming to the Aztecs, they played a 3-3-5, which includes 3 safeties on the field. You played nickel corner, you played outside corner, you played safety in high school. How do you think that experience is going to help you in the Aztecs secondary?
I think it's going to be able to help me be more flexible in that back seven, especially the 3 safety look. This past season, we ran that 3 safety look, and I was talking to Coach Hoke, and we went over some options of what position to play. It helps me being more versatile in this defense. And I played the nickel safety, the free safety, and the boundary safety, so I feel like I have a lot of knowledge and experience to play any position on the field.
Yeah, you mentioned that conversation. Is there one of those 3 positions that you think you're going to be kind of filling, or are they just kind of waiting to get you into camp and seeing how it goes?
Well, as of right now, I think I'm going to be at the field safety, and what they call a nickel, they call it an Aztec. And so just seeing based off how I do in camp, they'll see if I fit better at the Aztec or the field safety.
Got it.
Has there been any conversation about you helping in the return game on special teams? Because the Aztecs are in need of some help at the returner with Jordan Byrd going to the NFL.
Yes, I actually talked to the special teams coordinator. That was my last part of the campus tour. And, I told him, because my 40 and my 40, my vertical, all of those metrics have changed over the years. And, I run a 4.4, low 4.42. I jump a 45 now. Oh. I think the broad jump is still the same. I ran a 10.5 in high school and then 100. And so that's basically what we talked about, my speed and how I can move around. And so it was definitely a topic of, being able to be kick returner or a punt returner, things of that nature for sure.
One other thing that really stood out about you is that you enjoy giving back to the community and the youth in Jacksonville, Texas. On many occasions, you've gone to the middle school, elementary school, spoke to the kids about being a collegiate athlete, the importance of education. I think you were a volunteer coach for their 7-on-7 seventh grade football team. You also went back and, like I said, had visited your elementary school. I mean, why is that so important for you to, I guess, use your platform to help like the next generation coming up?
Oh yeah, man. They're the future of the world, in my opinion. They're next up. They're the next me. They're the next, my brother that's going to UTSA. They're next coming up. And so I want to be able to show them what it takes in order to get to that, not just sports wise, but, education and being able to give back when you can. I think that's very important. And I think they take it for granted. And I feel like a lot of people in Jacksonville should do it, but don't. And so I feel like I should just, step up and take that responsibility of making sure they're guided the right way in terms of being able to have that opportunity to play D1 sports or just go to college and just letting them know what it takes and how to do it, And I love those kids down there. I love them to death. I love that atmosphere. Just being in Jacksonville, born and raised there, it's a hell of an experience for sure.
That's awesome. You mentioned your brother going to UTSA. What position does your brother play? Is he going to be an incoming freshman there?
Yes, he'll be an incoming freshman. He plays receiver, inside and outside receiver. I think they'll have him inside there at UTSA.
So when you guys had your family matchups, him as receiver and you covering him, who's getting the better end of that?
Big brother.
Oh man, big brother always, you know. But he's a great athlete. Oh man, my little brother is my rock, and
Hmm.
you know he'll tell you that, and you know we train together all the time. You know we give each other a hard time competitively, and I cannot wait to see what he does up there in UTSA. But and he knows who has the higher stick around here, so I am excited to see how he does in college football for sure.
Awesome. Who, as you were growing up, or even just currently, who's a football player that you study or you try to model your game after?
Oh, Tyrann Mathieu for sure. Just the way that he flies around, how physical he is, how he can cover from hash to the sideline, just how smart he is, just intellectually about the game of football. And you know that's my guy to study for sure.
Definitely a good one to model your game after. I believe you already have your bachelor's degree. What will you be studying at San Diego State?
I will be getting a sports marketing degree here, and I just got my master's certificate here for the business of supply chain.
Oh, wow.
And so I'll be getting another, you know, master's or certificate or degree here in San Diego. So I'm very thankful for them for giving me that opportunity as well, as far as education goes, to get another term of master's.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Now, due to that extra year of eligibility because of COVID, right? I believe you have
Yes.
2 years of eligibility left.
Yes, sir.
You know, how much of a benefit do you think that extra year has been to the people of, you know, your group who was there in 2020, you know, to be able to walk away with a graduate degree? Because people in the past, you know, they'd only have 5 years. And so unless they took extra work or did some things during the summer, you know, a bachelor's was kind of as far as they could go. But with this extra 6 year, more people are being able to get that graduate degree. I mean, what do you think that benefits athletes being able to walk away from college with those graduate degrees?
Oh, it helps them big time. Not even like for sports too. Like that extra year helps them have more time to get to the league and pursue their dreams. But it also helps them have a higher end of education to get a higher end paying job or get to work wherever you want around the country. And I think that extra year benefits a lot of people, me included, you know, because I had so many injuries, just that one huge injury that I had, and having this COVID year, having 2 more years to, you know, get to the league, it helps me a lot. And especially getting my master's there would definitely help a lot too.
Do you think that being able to kind of have, you know, at the end of the road, the potential to have a master's degree kind of encourage some of the people when they were younger to really buckle down? I know education's always been huge for you, but just speaking of from your peers and stuff, did you see people kind of pursuing that a little bit harder because they knew that it was possible for them to get that master's degree?
Growing up, I didn't really see a lot of people get, you know, their masters. You know, my mom is the only one that has her master's in the family. And so hers is in accounting, but I haven't really seen that type of, you know, work ethic or just that type of energy that it takes to get a master's. So this is very new to me, and I'm enjoying every bit of it for sure.
Terrific.
To finish off the interview, we've got some, you know, rapid fire non-football related questions. You ready for those?
For sure. Let's do it.
What's your favorite food?
Tacos.
Okay, there we go.
Wait. Was that before your visit?
That was before my visit, yeah.
Okay. All right. So did the staff do their homework? And so they knew that tacos were your favorite, and they were like, "Listen, we got a yearly taco fest."
Well, it was so crazy that it happened that way, because we went to dinner the first night I got there, and they asked me what my favorite food was, and I said tacos, and they was like, "Oh, okay, there's an annual taco fest tomorrow," and it just lined up perfectly. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, those tacos are great too.
Now, you already mentioned that San Diego's known for its authentic Mexican food, but the one item I think San Diego is known for is the California burrito. I don't know if
I've
anybody
heard
told you
of
about
it.
that. You have or you haven't?
Yeah, the coach mentioned that. Yeah, they mentioned that. I didn't get a chance to actually eat one, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to be there for 2 years, so I definitely experience it for sure.
Yeah, there's a big argument across, San Diego about what place has the best. So, once you've had your time here at San Diego, we'll have to ask you again what you think is your favorite one.
Most definitely.
So, what's your favorite movie or TV show?
Oh man, I'll probably have to go Outer Banks on that one.
Yeah,
Netflix series.
yeah, I've seen it. It's a fun show for sure. What
Yeah.
about favorite musical artist or group?
Oh, I'm a big old school guy, so I'd probably have to go
Hold on,
old
hold on,
school
hold on,
R&B guy. So I'd
hold
have
on,
to
hold on.
go
I gotta
probably.
interject. I gotta interject, Sean. You gotta be careful, man. We've
Yeah.
had a couple of people in your position who have said old school, and then they named stuff that was happening when Andre and I were kids, and we're not used to being old yet, man. So just be careful how old school you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Oh man. They're so let's just say this. They're old to me. So I'd probably go the group
Good
of
answer.
Jodeci. I'd probably go the group of Jodeci and Boys to Men probably.
Wow.
Yeah,
We heard
wow. Yep, low blow. You got us. We have a Mother's Day episode of one of your future teammates, his mother. That was her response as well. But we
Yeah.
were all the same age, and so she was talking about growing up listening to it. And so yeah, old school, Andre. That's us, buddy.
Hey, Jodeci, Boys to Men, man. You can't go wrong with those guys.
You cannot. It's a great answer.
For sure.
So when you're not playing football, what do you like to do? What's your favorite hobby?
I'm a big basketball guy. I love playing basketball. I'm a big reader. I like to read a lot when I'm not like training or, in season. So yeah, I think probably like basketball, reading, or just, hanging out with family when I can and friends when I can, for sure.
What do you like to read?
Just like little short novels or like, I read those Harry Potter books in high school. Now I just read like more short ones, more about the business aspect of the world and how it works.
Very cool. Very cool.
You mentioned basketball. Who's your favorite basketball player?
Oh, Kevin Durant by far.
Yeah.
I'm a big KD fan. I get a lot of slander for it, but it's okay.
Yeah, there's some Kevin Durant fans on the team. I think we've heard that answer from a couple guys, so for sure. When do you get to campus?
I believe in the beginning of June. I'm still doing enrollment right now, so I'm finishing that up. And, I've been talking to Coach Hoke to see the exact date of when I actually come up there.
Great, man. Great interview, brother. Thank you very much for your time. Just a fantastic job. Really, really appreciate it.
For sure, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good day, man.
Yeah, you too.
Recruiting is hot and heavy for San Diego State right now, not just with the transfer portal and trying to find 2023 guys, but the class of 2024. We had a chance to talk to one commit from each of those two, starting with Stacy Bey. You interviewed Stacy recently, wrote an article on him. Thank you for taking that one solo. From my perspective, the biggest question mark out there with Stacy was he was the first commit. He committed really early. I want to say it was like January or February. And in his article, he talked about how he was still going to take visits to Oklahoma, Georgia, some powerhouses. And I think fairly a lot of Aztec fans kind of looked at that like, okay, well, we're going to lose him, or he's not really a hard commit. And I think that was what I was interested in hearing from his perspective about that. And, he said he hasn't taken any visits. He's a hard commit as of now. I don't know if Aztec fans really felt 100% about that part, but they're all as of now in the grand scheme of things until they put pen to paper. And even when they do, they can always, ask for a release. So, but I think listening to the interview and hearing from his perspective, I mean, I think he's all in, and there's no doubt about that when you talk about what he's doing recruiting wise. If he's going out there and recruiting folks and getting them to come to San Diego State, he has to be really, really committed to San Diego State to be able to do that, or he's going to lose, friends and credibility with other folks if he jumps ship. Doesn't mean later down the road something doesn't change, but I think as of right now, I feel confident that he's all in with San Diego State.
Absolutely. And, I think we've always talked about having conversations with a podcast that is committed to covering San Diego State sports. I think also speaks to that. But, I think, as you say, I mean, he got his cousin who had a San Diego State offer, wasn't really considering San Diego State according to Foster. And then his cousin goes there and he's like, okay, I need to look at something different. I think, that area where he's from, Rancho Cucamonga area, talking about how, it's less than an hour away from San Diego State, I think is huge. He was able to talk about transferring, that has even such a negative connotation still, even though it's the way of sports now. There's good reasons to do it and to get closer to for his family to be able to drive him and be able to do all the commitments that are with sports. It makes a lot of sense. But I thought there was a lot that was really interesting about the conversation with Stacy. I really enjoyed the section where he was just, letting us get to know him a little bit. The seafood connection that he had with his dad, that he enjoys listening to Michael Jackson before games. All of those kind of like old soul kind of perspective about him. I can see why he would be attracted to an old school coach like Brady Hoke and an old school program that isn't maybe necessarily going to be as flashy as other places, but it is about being physical and playing good football. What stands out to you about Stacy Bey on the field?
Speed and athleticism as a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
I think San Diego State has had phenomenal linebackers, all conference linebackers in its, recent history. A lot of them are more bigger, physical guys who, stop the run and get in the backfield, sack quarterbacks. But, maybe they've missed that guy in the middle that's just speed, end zone or sideline to sideline, covering guys. And he even talked about he can cover guys in the slot, speed. Segun Alubi comes to mind.
Absolutely.
But Alubi only played 1 year of linebacker, and
he was a walk-on.
And he was still probably learning how to be a linebacker. Stacy's not learning. He's still learning, obviously. He's going to learn a lot, but he's been playing linebacker, and he is a linebacker. And I think that's what's the most exciting about his game is just to bring that speed and athleticism to cover guys. Football and overall, but especially college football, is a lot of spread offenses, a lot of four wides. We saw last year the slot, really, really hurt San Diego State's defense. And having someone of his caliber that can do a lot and without having to just be go stop the running back or go rush the passer, I think that stands out as something that might be different from the other linebackers that they've had or have in the room right now.
I agree. I think you're trying to think of maybe the last one, because they had a lot of really good linebackers over the years, but just somebody who goes and is just really physical. And I tried to highlight in my article a place where I think he'll excel, which is just hitting people from the sides in crossing routes. I think they've had linebackers who could make those tackles, but not necessarily somebody who, when they got there, they were there with a presence. I think that Vi Cajo is somebody who has stood out as somebody who's really, really physical, but that just hasn't been his role, and he hasn't been on the field enough to be able to bring that physicality. And so I think that it kind of seems like that they had, really good linebackers who made a lot of plays, but they just weren't either like with Michael Shawcroft. They just didn't quite have the size to be able to just really punish people when he got there with his speed and his instincts. And then, Caden McDonald, he could get to the play, but he was just a step slow to be able to really just explode into people. And I think, at his ceiling, Stacy Bey could be a person who could punish a bubble screen, be able to be in the middle of the field, run to the sidelines, have the cornerbacks kind of hold the play up a little bit, and then just deliver a huge hit that whether it jars the ball loose or is just something that gets the defense excited and becomes contagious about hitting, I think it is always there. And then I think going back to your speed and athleticism, San Diego State's linebackers blitz. Speed is what you need to be able to pull that off. And so it'll be interesting to see, where his career arc goes. And I think that, with what his Bay's high school has brewing, they already have 2 commits. San Diego State already has 2 commits from Rancho Cucamonga, who I believe last year won the passing tournament at San Diego State. They have a few other guys that they've offered, but it's really shaping up as kind of one of those high school teams to pay attention to for Aztec fans, to get to know some of the players before they arrive on the Mesa.
Yeah, we were talking about just speed and coverage ability from the linebacker spot. San Diego State coaches must be thinking the same thing, because the other linebacker commit they've got in the class of 2024 is Danny D-Boy New from Sarah, and he's a track guy too. So
Right.
He's got that speed and athleticism, and just having 2 guys come in that class that have that ability and that skill set, then that's definitely something those coaches are targeting. And, it's early. I think they have 5 total commits for the class of 2024, all from California, all really good athletes. But a lot of them have offers from a lot of good Power 5 programs, and they chose San Diego State. And Stacy talked about it. We're going to be the first class of the Pac-12. I think those are his exact words, as we know, we've talked about it. The coaching staff for a long time have been telling recruits about their move to the Pac-12. We've heard it from many commits we've talked to over the last, probably 6 to 8 months. A lot of these guys are coming to San Diego State because they're expecting them to be in the Power 5 when they come in. So far it's shaping up to be a really, really good class. Only 5 players in. A lot will change. A lot can happen in the next 7 months until their early signing day in mid-December, or mid to late December. But so far, I think the coaching staff has done really well, and they'll continue to do well over the summer, hopefully.
Absolutely. And you would imagine that when, I guess, if the Pac-12, Big 12 offer comes, although, athletic director, as I mentioned in the interview, he's JD Wicker has already said it's one or the other. SI reported that it's San Diego State. So I mean, it's kind of, as we've said, it's come out into the open completely. Every recruit that we've talked about, they're speaking about it and how important that is to them, and the decision of why they chose San Diego State. But I think that the momentum that should jump into those recruiting classes when that's a completely known commodity, right? When it's not just rumor, but it is confirmed and the offer is there, and there's a plan for 2024 for them to be able to make that move. So it's a really interesting dynamic, because that has been the point of conversation all over the place, is what happens to San Diego State and the quality of recruits that they're able to get, because they're going to the Power 5, new stadium. But then on the flip side of it, there's NIL and there's all those things. And so exactly how it's going to play out, I think it's still really, really interesting. But you mentioned those 5 recruits. You have Stacy Bey, and then you have 3 guys who have connections to Stacy Bey. And I don't think that's a coincidence. What did you make of his nickname, the Sergeant?
I wasn't expecting that.
No, me either.
I'll probably, because I didn't know he had that much of a connection to so many of the players and how much recruiting he was doing. You don't hear too many football players with a nickname the Sergeant. He may be the only one I've ever heard of. So it's different, not necessarily in a bad way, but just different.
Yeah, no, I think it just, again, it shows the importance of that first commit, which was the article that I tried to show. It does have the potential to be really special. The 5 guys that you named have probably already set the culture for what the class of 2024 is going to be for San Diego State, and every other commit after this is going to enter into what these 5 guys have already created. I think there was some, because there's a million rankings online. Coach Sumler was named as one of the best recruiters on the West Coast. And, when one of the best recruiters, and I should say 4 of the 5 are from his recruiting area. And, being able to develop those relationships and do all of that, I think is pretty special. But it's the smartest things for the coaches to do, because Stacy's authenticity, I think, really came across in the interview. His willingness to kind of be open about himself, about what he's thinking, the ability to say, yes, I know I said that I was going to take other visits, but you know what, I'm not. I'm locked into SDSU. I think all of that, you could see why, if you're thinking about where am I going to spend my time for the next, 4 or 5 years, 3, 5, 6 years, whatever it is, why you would want to be around a guy like Stacy Bey. I think that was pretty evident. And as I tried to make the argument, that's the kind of kid that you would want as your first commit. And it doesn't always happen that way. People's personalities just aren't, and so I thought it was a very, very illuminating and important aspect of, everything that is going on around San Diego State. And everybody wants to talk about, stadium. Everyone talks about Power 5. Everyone talks about all of these things and the aspects of recruiting. But I think a player like Stacy Bey as that lead recruit is also a very, very important factor in the overall shape of the class.
Let's give a shout out to Jordan Napier as well.
Oh, right. Yes.
A guy who already signed to San Diego State as part of this current 2023 class. He'll be into the campus during the summer, but he's friends with Stacy, and Stacy said he wasn't really checking for San Diego State until he saw his buddy sign or commit to them and then sign with them, and then got in touch with Coach Sumler. So let's shout out to Jordan Napier for doing his own recruiting skills as well. As I said, they're 7 months away from the December early signing day. A lot can change, but I think it behooves San Diego State to make sure that Stacy and, the 4 guys that they've got committed right now stay committed and sign when they need to sign. Shifting gears to Deshawn Mccuin. He's obviously a transfer guy. He'll be in this summer from TCU. He's an experienced guy, even though he hasn't played a ton of defensive snaps. He's been at TCU for 4 years, 1 redshirt, 3 playing. He has an injury that kind of curtailed 1 season. He went to the national championship game this year with TCU. So he's got a lot of experience in terms of practicing and being on a Power 5 team. And I think he's going to help the safety room that right now is lacking a little bit of experience and versatility. What'd you make of our conversation with him?
A lot. I mean, I think you hit on a lot of it right there. I think the idea that Aztec fans understand, because everybody who was following what the basketball team was doing, I think understood that Miles Byrd and DeMarshe Johnson, etc., that just by being around that process, it shows you what is needed and how you have to be in order to reach those levels. And McCune was obviously playing on special teams and being around it. But I think that kind of experience matters. The game is not going to be too big for him. I think it's one of the main parts of what the fall camp is going to unveil is exactly how they're going to replace Patrick McMorris. Obviously, if that's McCune, he will bring an element of speed that McMorris did not have. He'll be smaller than McMorris, and those kinds of things. But as you pointed it out in your article, he played in a 3-3-5, and before that he was in a 4-2-5. So that 5 look is something that he knows about. But I think he just has that versatility that you're going to want. JD Coffey, same kind of idea. I don't know exactly how all those things are going to mix up, where those guys are going to be. I think you still have Kyron White that they're thinking about moving back to the position. And then you have these young guys who are going to be pushing all of them. How all of that shapes out, I think, is one of the big stories. But as far as McCune is concerned, you want to add athletes. I mean, that's just what it is. As the program is moving towards that Power 5, the big thing is just being able to get a better athlete. And that is what McCune is. I mean, did you say a 45-inch vertical?
Yeah.
With a low 4.42 40. I mean, that's world class. To have that in the backfield potentially, in the fall, I think is an exciting prospect for Aztec fans.
Yeah, as I wrote in the article, that 40-yard and his vertical, now those are the numbers he gave us. They're not combine measured and verified. So, but if those were his numbers at the combine, those would be the highest and the best numbers among all safeties in this year's draft class. That should tell you where his athleticism, the broad jump would put him at 9th, I think, among 18. So that one was it's still a good number, but it wasn't upper echelon. But yeah, when I talked to Coach Kennedy, his defensive coordinator in high school, and also his second cousin, he made sure to disclose that up front that they are relatives. But
right.
He was speaking from his defensive coordinator of just how versatile he was and how his athleticism would let him react and get a jump on balls so much faster than the average player. Mm-hmm. And Deshawn spoke about how his athleticism helps him get jumps on the ball, read and react, things like that. I think is going to be really good in a spot where San Diego State might need it. I thought it was interesting. He said that initially they talked to him about being field warrior, which is where Devon Celestine is the incumbent starter. But let's see what you do, and let's get you in fall camp, and let's see how the Aztec position, because that's where Patrick Morris departed, and I think that's where the depth and the experience is probably the most lacking, just because right now you've got a true freshman and a redshirt freshman. Or no, I got Max Garrison just technically a sophomore now.
Right.
You got 2 guys who haven't played in really many snaps on defense, vying for it. So that's where I think Deshawn could step in and become a starter right away, depending on what he shows.
I thought, obviously, the other schools that he mentioned that he had the opportunity to go play at shows that, San Diego State is not the only team that coveted him. And so I think that's a significant part. And I think that him, JD Coffey, they got a tight end from Louisville. These are the kinds of players that San Diego State has really got to do well with. Because short of, an Aztec Link, which is the NIL collective, as that continues to, get into the community and do the things that it does, payouts and things like that become bigger. And so who knows where it's at in coming times and things of that nature. But as it currently stands, those are the kinds of players that San Diego State is going to be able to attract. I think it's very telling of the reputation, Kyle Hoke, that 2 guys from Power 5 conferences who had the opportunity to go elsewhere both said, hey, like, the reason I'm coming here is because it's going to give me my best shot of being in the NFL. I think it's a really good feather in the cap of these recruits. Of the program, that these recruits are saying that. I think I also just, I really appreciated, and you guys didn't get to hear it. I got to hear it. But with Coach Kennedy, I got to hear the Andre, did that interview for his article, and then I got to do that as my prep for the interview that we had with Deshawn. And I know they're second cousins. I have second cousins that I don't talk to. So it's not just a given that you're going to be talking in such glowing terms about somebody. I think it's significant. I think when I emailed the school to try to, find people who to give, more background there was like a line of people who wanted to be able to talk about Deshawn. It's like, here's this guy's number, and here's this guy's email, and here's this, and here's this. And they wanted to make sure that what he's doing in Jacksonville, Texas is known because it matters. So this is another, just high character kid. I love the leadership when he said, we should be helping more young people in Jacksonville, Texas. And I don't think enough people are stepping up. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go do it. And did you say it was 4 days after the national title game? I mean, this is not, I'm 3 days after. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. I'm going to go and I'm going to lead. And, I think that's when you have Patrick Morris, who's a team captain coming back, it's leadership that you really want from him as much as anything else. And then he leaves and he goes to Cal, and you're saying, okay, well, who's going to step in? And it's probably the guy who shows up at a 7th grade camp that, without being asked to go be like the defensive coordinator, and who's there for 2 days, who takes it upon himself, who understands his role and takes that very serious to go and give back, as somebody who's going to be able to and provide some of that veteran presence along with, Celestine and the different pieces that there. So I think that's really, really encouraging. And then the versatility, man. I mean, I'm looking at, you have obviously, and how many corners do they have that are San Diego State has that are legit? Would you say
5?
5. You have 5 legit cornerbacks. Okay, how many safeties have a history of playing cornerback?
Yeah,
right. I mean,
all of them.
All of them. Yeah, and so you're looking at all of these guys that can just flat out cover, which gives you so much flexibility to be able to do whatever you want, right? Like if you had to, in a pinch, you had to, let's say, Des Malone is a specimen of a human being, and you wanted to bring him off the corner, and you end up, rolling McCuin over, and now he's covering a wide receiver one-on-one. He might not be able to do that for 80 plays, but he could probably do it for when you want to put that wrinkle in. What they're able to do with that, I think it gives a lot of potential for Coach Maddox to do a lot of, cloak and dagger, smoke and mirrors, whatever cliche makes sense there, to be able to get to bring some surprise a little bit, just trying to create those turnovers that I think they're going to need to be able to be successful this upcoming season.
One thing on the elementary school visit right after the national championship, the local news in Jacksonville did a story on that. And I linked it in my article in that to the YouTube page that will show you that little 3-minute clip. But more evidence of what a great person he is like listening to his 3rd or 4th grade teacher. Who's still there, who was his teacher when he was in 3rd or 4th grade, talking about how awesome of a person he is, and in tears talking about how willing he is to come back and speak to her current students about, education and becoming, what you want to be, and going to college and things like that. So I'd recommend you click on that link in the article if you want to watch that video, because it was really cool to watch that as I was prepping and preparing to, interview Coach Kennedy and then Deshawn and write the article. So definitely do that. And the other sort of connection to another incoming San Diego State player, Tyson Berry, who's from Chapel Hill, Texas, which is just, I think, like 20 miles away from Jacksonville, Texas.
Okay.
And Coach Kennedy told me that he coached Tyson in intermediate school. So
we don't have those out here. What's intermediate school?
I had to look it up too. I think it's like somewhere between 4th and 6th grade.
Okay.
I had to look that up too. I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah.
But, obviously Tyson is 4 years younger than Deshawn, so they didn't play together. But, his coach Kennedy did coach him and spoke glowingly about Tyson, another, high character guy who loves to compete and works hard. So a lot of that area in Texas is becoming a nice recruiting area for San Diego State.
Right. And I think on that same note, I think one of the big questions that's going to continue to be there until it isn't is, can San Diego State continue to recruit Texas well, even though Jeff Horton is no longer part of the program?
Mm-hmm.
And early returns are really positive. And as we have discussed with multiple people from Texas who want to come over to San Diego, football is king there. And everybody in Jacksonville, Texas is now an Aztec fan. And, McCuin is a celebrity. He's using that celebrity to give back. But make no mistake, he is a celebrity. And now that entire community is watching what he does at San Diego State. And all of those players who he went and coached, they now have all been recruited to San Diego State. And if one of them shows up to be something, that creates those pipelines. And so it seems like San Diego State is doing a good job of continuing what Coach Horton started, finding because, the truth of the matter is, again, another very easy commonality is when you ask players what Texas football is like, it's the same values as what the Aztecs coaching staff is talking about. That common culture, I think, is something that these kids are attracted to. But, Deshawn also said, and San Diego weather is pretty nice. Which,
and tacos.
What was, oh man. So do you think tacos sealed the deal?
The Taco Fest.
The Taco Fest. How could that have happened? It's funny, man. I saw that like on the SD Reader events page, and it was just a little bit too pricey for my because I got to bring 50 people with me everywhere I go. Yeah, so it wasn't going to be. I mean, yeah, if I had gotten tacos without my children, it would have been bad news. But I saw that it looked amazing. So I kudos to whoever asked those questions and got that, because I mean, what more of a perfect recruiting thing than the Taco Fest,
We also have to mention Jodeci popped up twice in 2 straight episodes.
I mean, it's great taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know. And it was funny too, because they both referred to it as the exact same way.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that, so we're talking about Adria Shaw mentioning the music that she enjoyed, and she actually called it old school. She just like gave in. I still was trying to fight that a little bit. I don't think that I can anymore. But I mean, that's what I mean. Like, if you go and you're imagining what San Diego State's locker room is going to be like when all of these people get to play DJ, and I don't know exactly when they'll be able to do it, but it's going to be like, I don't know, a 1993 8th grade dance or something, man. It's gonna, they're going to be able to do all of that. So yeah, I thought it was great. I think that the last part that I'd want to mention with McCuin is special teams. Jordan Bird is obviously going to be missed. I mean, there were multiple times where, even just this last year, San Jose State, where they jump out to a 14-0 lead, and it's his touchdown that kind of gets the ball rolling and the momentum going for San Diego State. But how many times in his career from special teams was a huge difference? I mean, thinking about Utah and the return, when Utah played, I want to say at home, but in LA, they need to figure out a way to get explosive plays from that. And as much as I think Mekhi Shaw has the ability to be sure-handed, and I think can make some positive yards, I don't know that explosive is quite where he's at in his career. I think when you're talking about returning kickoffs, Max Garrison, I thought flashed, but they did have Keenan Christian back there, and it's going to be the age-old thing that they said with Jordan Bird as well. And you saw a little bit at times where other people had to come in because he was just getting too big of a load, especially at the beginning of the year. If Keenan Christian puts in the year that everyone's hoping that he does, do you really want him returning kicks? Is that really something that you want him to do? So here you go. Here's another incredibly fast athlete that can help you. And if he's not the returner, that's where he's made his mark, is that as a great special teams player. And that's one of the things TCU is known for. They're known as being able to, in that third phase, to beat other players. And he's going to bring some of that just skill and moxie over. And I don't think it can be underestimated that whatever happens in the competition at safety, he's going to bring that element to San Diego State no matter what, and they're going to be better as a result.
One underrated part of Jordan Byrd towards the end of his career, which was a struggle in the beginning, was protecting the ball. Like last year, I don't think Jordan had any fumbles on special teams, kick or punt, which was something he struggled with. He dropped some punts and had some fumbles early, but he cleaned that up completely.
Yeah.
And, you may bring in another guy that's faster than Jordan Byrd or more explosive, but if they're, every couple of punts they're dropping it and they're putting it on the ground, then that's not overall success for the team, long term. And I think when I recall when we talked to Coach Deacon and asked him about what he looks for in a returner, the first thing he said is possessing the ball.
Absolutely.
Keeping and possessing the ball. So you got that guy who ends up being the guy after Jordan Byrd has to be able to protect the ball, or else he's not going to be that guy very long.
I agree, and I guess just for my last parting words, man, I thought you did a great job on the article, being able to hunt down and obviously to talk to Deshawn. I thought was just great, and it's exactly why we do what we do. And great work, my friend.
Thank you. Your Stacy Bey article was great as well. Any other commits that are listening that want to come on the podcast, hit us up. We'll definitely get you scheduled to help you, tell your story and your background for sure, for Aztec fans to get to know you a little bit. So definitely Paul and I's DMs are open. Hit us up. That'll do it for us on this episode. Appreciate you guys for listening in. Hope you enjoyed getting to know two of the newest Aztecs, and we'll talk to you guys next time. You are listening to the SDSU Football Podcast, presented by the East Village Times, with your hosts Andre Hagverdian and Paul Garrison.